It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. From Fantatrax TV, this is Good Morning Tatooine!
Good morning, Tatooine, indeed. Welcome to the live stream. A few technical issues as we get started there, but don't worry about it. We're live. It's just past 9 o'clock. England are through to the next round of World Cup, so disastrous if you're Scottish and you've got to read the newspapers and listen to the news in the next couple of days. But hopefully they'll go out by the end of the week. Anyway, we've got Star Wars to talk about, so let's get into it. First up, Boonta Eve 4, what's in the swag bag? This celebration event, we'll be checking that out. Farthest from weekends just coming up, making tracks. We'll be live there once again in Fordingbridge. We'll be talking about that show. Star Wars Fan Fun Day, my favourite Star Wars event of the year, is coming up in May next year. Tickets are on sale now for Dinner with the Star Wars Stars. We'll be talking about that event as well. Willow has hit Disney Plus. We'll be checking out Willow. Bring Home the Galaxy, we've reached week number 7, so Hasbro's all at it with their Black Series Return of the Jedi 40th collection. We'll be checking that out. We'll also be checking out Roosevelt's Holiday Collection as well as all the rest of the Bring Home the Galaxy tat, well, I'm going to call it. All sorts of stuff from Lego, there's watches in there, there's fashion stuff, all that kind of stuff. Big news of the week, probably not Star Wars related, but it's still Lucasfilm related. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is Indiana Jones 5, trailer dropped in San Paulo's Comic Con this week, and we'll be checking that out. We've also got a release date for The Mandalorian Season 3. We'll be talking about The Mandalorian. Jedi Battle Scars, a new novel, has revealed its cover. And Tony Gilroy's also been talking about Andor Season 2, so a lot of things looking to the future this week, and joining me to discuss that and much, much more from Fantatrax.com, Mr. Carl Bayliss. Hi, Carl.
Hello. How you doing?
Not too bad. Apart from the results in the football, I was a big fan of the Senegalese football club until about an hour ago. But other than that,
that's why we've had technical gremlins. All the England fans have been sucking up all the internet bandwidth.
All the kettles boiling at full time, I think.
That's it. But
yeah.
But we're here. We're here.
I'm living the World Cup vicariously through England's opponents, but it's not going so well so far. It's the only way. It's been 1998, I think, was the last time Scotland reached the World Cup. So, a long time ago.
Yeah. No, I've been, because of the strange timings of some of the group games, and then other stuff that I'd had planned, seemingly all coinciding with England games. I haven't really watched much of this World Cup at all, and the fact that it's in December has just completely thrown me
it is
out.
A weird
anyway.
one. It's the kind of thing where you normally see the banners out in the street and flags in people's gardens and so on. But none of that.
Yeah, no, it's Christmas lights instead.
It is. The Christmas lights, all right. Not in my household yet. I'm holding out till next weekend, I think.
There we go.
Lots of news to discuss this week, and we're going to kick it off with a few events happening over here in the UK.
Yes.
First up, Star Wars celebrations on the horizon, and launching just the night before Star Wars celebration, Boonta Eve. Talked about this on last week's show. And they've released the first look at some of the swag that's going to be in the swag bag at the event. A very cool Leia stamp pin, which is kind of inspired by the Queen Elizabeth traditional kind of stamps, but with their Princess of Alderaan, Princess Leia on there. And some very cool postcards and so on as well. A great way to kick off Star Wars celebration, I think.
Absolutely. Was fortunate enough to get along to the Boonta Eve event in Anaheim this year.
Okay, yeah.
And it was really, really good fun. Obviously, this is going to be in a completely different venue, but the venue in Anaheim was aptly called Big Steiner.
Okay.
And it was a really, really fun night. There was a few signings going on there, some traders and a couple of things like that. But the big focus was the virtual cantina stuff and the Alderaan Idol, which was a karaoke competition. Which was very, very good, very high standard. I'd flown in that afternoon, so I was running on about 2 hours sleep in 48, and then we go, we're going to this event. I thought, okay, whatever. So so that was a really good way to kick off celebration. And if anybody's sort of in two minds as to whether to get tickets for this, which I think go on sale New Year's Day.
Yep, 1st of January, 30 quid. 250 tickets, I think. It's a limited event. It starts at 3 o'clock over at Canary Wharf, which is only a stone's throw away from the Excel Centre where celebration is being held. And it's also home to some shooting locations for Rogue One and Andor. As well. So you can go on the little hunt whilst you're over there.
That's it.
Check out, see if you can spot some of the locations. The ISB building, a nice one, and then there's the underground sort of railway from Rogue One as well. Two easily found ones.
Yeah. So definitely would recommend that because say the guys at Virtual Cantina put on a hell of a show in Anaheim, and I have no reason to doubt that they'll be pulling out all the stops for this one as well. So
haven't had the luxury to go to that one before, but hope to go next year. But somewhere I have been before is Fordingbridge for Farthest From. Farthest From weekend is going to be 10th and 11th of December. And if you're there on Sunday the 11th, you'll be able to check out Making Tracks Live. Mr. Newbold's there. I think Mr. Mulcaster may also be there. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But yeah, they'll be doing a live podcast during the show, which is a retro toy show, if you're not familiar with it. You've been to Farthest From before, Carl?
I've been several times. Unfortunately, I can't make this one because I will be in Galaxy's Edge instead.
Ah, very nice.
In Florida. So, we're taking a family holiday because it's my daughter's 18th birthday this week. So, but it is a brilliant show. As you say, the Saturday is a sort of fun day. I think they've got a few signing guests, some actors that have been in Andor and Rogue One. So those are always quite nice because it's a nice little show. You get plenty of time to talk to the guests, and then there's lots of sort of Star Wars themed stuff going on, and obviously merch for you to buy as well. And then on the Sunday, as you say, it's the full on vintage and retro toy show, which is a massive pull. It's a really, really nice show. and it goes mental for a couple of hours while everybody's trying to root out all the exclusive little bits that they need to complete their collections, and then once the initial panic's died down and everybody's spent their money, it calms down a little bit, and it's a nice show. And if you are into vintage collecting, you'll already know how much how key this show is to the vintage scene. So
Yeah, absolutely. The last show on our list to talk about coming up in May next year. May it's on Sunday the 14th of May. In fact, is Star Wars Fan Fun Day, and the evening before the 13th of May is Dinner with the Star Wars Stars, which is a really fun event where it literally is, as you say, you have dinner with a star from Star Wars, and tables I think of between 8 and 10 I think it is, and at Blackburn Football Ground at Ewood Park, and always a great fun event and a great kick-off to the main show on the Sunday, which again, huge array of autograph guests. Paul Dunn organises that element of the show, does a great job on bringing a great variety of guests to the show. Great day out for the whole family, a lot of fun, fantastic venue. It was the first time at Ewood Park last year, and I thought it was a brilliant place to have it, and looking forward to going again this year. In fact, I bought my ticket just last night.
There we go. Yeah, it is. I think as a team, it's one of those events that we always look to sort of get in the diary as soon as it's announced. Everybody's like, right, okay, that's it.
Yep.
Fan Fun Days there, right? Let's sort out who's going and everything else. But yeah, really good show. As you say, moved from Burnley to the Blackburn Football Ground, but it was none the worse for that move. There were a lot of things about the show that were a lot better. The trading hall, if you like, was nicely laid out, and there was a lot of stuff there, and a lot of bargain stuff as well. What a friend of ours, and sometime guest contributor to Fantha now, John Hipkiss. It was the first time he'd been, and he came up with me, and he was blown away. And he's like a bit of a knick-knack collector, and he picked up loads of stuff. He was like, "Oh, I've never seen this before." So sometimes these smaller shows, are a real sort of treasure trove. For,
I think that's what I enjoy about it. There's a nice, relaxed atmosphere to it. You get a different kind of guest, I think, from some of the bigger shows. You get a chance to spend time with those guests as well, and just chat about their experiences on Star Wars. You get a really wide variety of traders. It's not commercialized in the way some of the bigger shows are. And so it's a nice, unique chance, I think, to interact with people that you wouldn't not necessarily always get the chance to interact with.
Yeah, and check out if anybody's not been before and wants to get a flavour for it. Check out some of the Making Tracks specials. Mark usually captures loads of the guests. Yeah. For audio interviews, and again, last year was no exception. There's some absolutely corking interviews with some of the guests that were there. So yeah,
definitely. Let's crack on to some of the news from the week. And first up, I think from Lucasfilm, not Star Wars, but featuring a favourite actor of ours, is Warwick Davis, was Willow, and his character Willow, obviously from the film of the same name, back in his own Disney Plus original TV series, and the first 2 episodes dropped this week, and we've got a little bit of behind the scenes trailery footage we could be playing whilst we chat about Willow. Were you a fan of the original film, first of all? I think it's probably the best way to start.
Yeah. It was. It's not. It's not something I've gone back and watched. Sort of on repeat. But I remember seeing it at the time. Sort of being all up in sort of Lucasfilm and
Yep.
Star Wars at the time, and I'm really looking forward to this. I haven't managed yet to sit down and see the new episodes, but I mean, even from the cast, you've got Erin Kellerman there, Enfys Nest, lots of good people, and as Elliot's just said, it's nice to have something that's got a good sense of humour about it. That certainly came over from the trailer and even the teaser that they put out, where sort of Erin Kellerman was saying, I was in Solo, and Warwick's like, oh, I haven't seen that one. Yeah, so
Yeah, I thought
it's
they did really well with the first two episodes. It's hard, I think, to re-establish something. Um, I guess it's more than 30 years, almost 35 years on.
yeah,
Which was really because Willow was more of a cult following than it was sort of hugely commercial, I think.
mainstream, yeah,
And so I think it's hard. So they've almost like rebuilt the world in a little bit, and I was really impressed with what they did with it. You can tell, I think with the first couple of episodes, there was a lot of changing in who was going to be doing the directing and so on. I think it changed about 3 or 4 times. And you can kind of pick up on that a little bit in the first couple of episodes. There's a few scenes where you think, oh, the performances aren't that great. That would have been reshot, I think, if it had been under control of maybe one person, I think. And you can tell there was a little bit of a confusion at the start. But I thought the settings, the look of it, the feel of it, the cast of pretty much young actors were all really, really putting top drawer performances. I thought I liked the story. I really liked the character of Boorman, who really just won me over in the first couple of episodes already. I'm really behind that character. I'm invested in the storyline already, and it's just building up pace. So I'm excited to see where the series goes. It's as Elliot said, it was a light-hearted show. It's a nice, different take. It feels very Disney. And the interesting thing about it, and I think you'll appreciate it when you come to watch it, Carl, is the music in it is really modern for a fantasy TV show, which makes it really kind of fresh and different. It felt like something really targeted towards the sort of late teenage kind of age group market, and it kind of worked really well.
Yeah, it's. I mean, again, it's one of these things. We're recording the Christmas episode of Desert Planet Discs this week, and we've got a few guests on that. Without wishing to spoil it too much, and it's one of the things that we sort of picked up on. There is you've got so many plates spinning, both Star Wars wise and sort of wider Lucasfilm properties. There almost has to be a lot of different things pitched at different age levels, because we've just come off the back of the Andor series, which is older in its tone and appeal. That's not saying younger people won't like it, but it's certainly not aimed at the very young market, which some of the animated shows and things like that are perhaps more aimed at them. To bring them into the franchise. Similar with the upcoming Skeleton Crew. That's been pitched as a sort of teen, younger adult sort of series. So having something that brings people into Disney Plus, at different ages. That's got to be what it's about. And it'd be interesting to see. I've not read anywhere really. Again, is it a like a limited run series like they were
It's
saying
a
Obi-Wan?
8-episode series,
Yeah,
but they have said that they want to do a series 2. Hasn't been greenlit as yet, which would
yeah,
suggest if there is going to be a series 2, it's going to be quite a gap between them.
yeah. And you wonder with some of these things whether it's almost the fact that you've got um, sort of Warwick in this series, you know, is that to have the bridge to the original film, but they're doing the world building, and then it will continue forward, perhaps with less involvement from Warwick, but taking some of those other characters.
Well, that's kind of I thought. Maybe they shouldn't have went with Willow as the title of the show, because it kind of feels like
Yeah,
the
it's
other
it's it's
characters
hang-
could really lead the show more than the
yeah,
Willow character almost feels like a bridge between the film and what this new series could be.
yeah. What they're trying to do now, yeah, yeah.
So
But again, it, like people have speculated about the Lando series. There's nothing to say you couldn't have tales of Willow, and it almost becomes Warwick sat there reminiscing. In much the same way people have said, you could have Billy D there going, "Oh, I remember that time on Woodmandale," and all of it, and then it cuts to Donald
yeah,
Glover running around having the crazy capers sort of thing,
because it's
and
interesting
you
you say
can
that, because it actually has Willow in sort of 3 different timelines in the
okay,
series. So it has got elements set when he's younger, current
yeah,
time, and in the future. So yes,
yeah,
definitely something that they could dabble with, I think.
yeah, and as we'll touch on with one of the other news stories, they're clearly still kicking on with their de-aging technology. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of scope for jumping around.
yeah. It's time for some gift giving, I think. Bring Home the Galaxy week 7 is upon us. Hasbro have been rolling out some new products, which always gets an interesting reaction from the community, I think. Star Wars The Black Series Pat Blue, which is a kind of Ewoks are always kind of popular, I guess, but $25 price point coming next summer. It's quite a tough sell, I think, that one.
Yeah,
We've also got Bib Fortuna,
yeah,
again next summer, similar price point. It's kind of a nice looking character. We've got Chewbacca as well. You always need stormtroopers, so in the Return of the Jedi packaging you've got a repackaged stormtrooper. The Emperor, which is kind of my favourite out of all these figures, purely because you don't often see the Emperor in the top right there without the helm, without the hood.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, $25, all coming next summer. It's a tough sell, I think, to still be in the collecting game in the Black Series when the price points are getting so high. And I think there's not much difference between the dollar price and the sterling price at the moment either, as well,
no,
which isn't great.
no.
But
I mean, I have picked up some of both the New Hope and Empire sort of reproduction carded series, but I've been sort of very selective in what I've actually gone for. Certainly not getting the entire waves, but this one, I mean, this is the second wave, isn't it, of the Jedi ones?
Yep.
There was another one, but I think then I don't think there's any new characters I think they're all.
I think they've all been done before, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, especially that wave. I mean, obviously you've had. You're always going to get stormtroopers, so I think that's the remold stormtrooper, but that was originally done for Mandalorian. There's been several variations on that theme since, but then the Paplu was part of that Andor set, which the Han and Leia and Luke were in. That was it a Celebration exclusive for Chicago?
That sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a big fold out box thing. So they first appeared in that. Then they've appeared in the new style boxes. So again, it's the thing that most people are criticising Hasbro for at the moment is repaints upon repaints upon repacks. And a lot of those figures haven't sold particularly well in any of the other iterations. So they're starting to crop up in some of the discount stores already. And
I think the reality of the problem is, and it's not Hasbro's issue really, it's more a Lucasfilm Disney thing, is if you're doing Return of the Jedi and you're celebrating the anniversary of it, it doesn't make sense if you don't have a Slave Leia, one of the most iconic images, popular characters, popular figures as well. So that's always going to be a strange one, I think, and it's a landmark figure that everybody wants and probably not going to get.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk clothes that are cover more than a bikini.
Yes.
Roosevelt's holiday collection, 2 great shirts for the holiday season. If you're going to pick one, what are you going for, left or right?
I would have gone, I think, for the Hoth one, the one on the left.
I was the same.
And they were both available as well as long sleeve options, which over here is obviously
yeah, we like the long sleeve in Scotland, that's for sure.
yeah. What you also need is like a.
You only got like a 2-hour window to get the short sleeve shirt out in each year,
That's it. And they are proving popular, as my co-host on Desert Planet Discs, Mr. Robertson, while we were recording the other night, those shirts went live, and he sort of went quiet for a little bit, and he was online ordering the shirts. So I think he's gone for the long sleeved Hoth one.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was getting his Roosevelt's order in. So
excellent.
But they're really, really good quality. I'm hoping that I can pick some up in the flesh while I'm over in Florida next week.
Fantastic.
Next week. Ooh.
I know. It's going to be here before you know it.
I know.
Let's see what else you could bring home, because Lucasfilm's got their Bring Home the Galaxy array of products for us to have a look at. So it's week 7. There's 2 more weeks to go. First up, all the toys and collectibles, a lot of them figures that we've just seen. And we've also got watches. And that one's okay, I guess. But I'm looking at the rest of them, and it's like not a single one that I would wear. I think they're ghastly.
They're a bit bold. Probably aimed at a younger market.
I believe they're quite expensive, I think.
Yeah, I've seen some of the other watches.
Yeah.
There was a nice sort of gold one that was like 3PO, and it got the 2 dials as the month and everything as the eyes, and there was a similar one that was a Darth Maul, but they were like 250, 300 quid.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Little baby Grogu, baby hats.
Oh,
can't go wrong there.
You can't go wrong with a bit of Grogu.
Very cute. Also very cute at the top there as well in their beanie hats. Yeah. We've seen the shirts.
Yeah, there you go. There's your long sleeved option.
Yeah, and her universe have also got a range of clothing out is available. There's bags as well.
The
Poster
Vera
there.
Bradley bags. Yes,
Very
my daughter
expensive, I believe.
Yeah, my daughter clocked those, and we are, as I say, over there. So if those are in the Disney parks, that's going to be an expensive day for me.
Settle for a phone cover.
Yeah, yeah.
And last but not least, a really terrible take on um, the meme with protect, attack, take naps.
Take naps.
That's like terrible. That's just like whoever
Yeah.
came up with that, like go home, marketing person. That was terrible today. Oven mitt, and
Just in time for Christmas dinner.
yeah, and your Ahsoka headdress there as well.
Yes.
So that's your choice. We're getting to the bottom of the barrel, I think, and what Lucasfilm's got to offer for Christmas. But we've got 2 weeks to go. Will they surprise us with something exciting before the holiday
Through the
season?
bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Next up is another non-Star Wars news item. We've got a few of them this week, but one that I think will excite everybody. Indiana Jones, the 5th movie, has now got a title. It is The Dial of Destiny, and it's going to hit theatres June 30th, 2023. Harrison Ford returning, and James Mangold at the helm. Loved his work on Logan, Ford and Ferrari as well. So excited to see what he brings to the picture, though I am gutted that Steven Spielberg and George Lucas are not the two people running the show this time round, but we're going to get something interesting and what potentially could be Harrison Ford's last outing as Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I think we should roll the trailer while we talk about it. Your thoughts on the trailer?
I really enjoyed it. It's got lots of elements of sort of classic Indiana Jones action. Even down to that scene there where he's at the university or lecturing or something like that. There's lots of those sort of things. I mean, even that shot is kind of reminiscent of the some of the shot at the end of Raiders where they're in the big warehouse and things like that. There's just so many little nuggets in there that seem to be sort of callbacks to the classic original films that that they've obviously put the work in to try and make it feel like Indiana Jones, and the scene that's upcoming, sort of referencing the old whip gag, and sort of goes to pull the gun on him, but it's sort of turned round on him.
Yeah, right. It was kind of like the very tail end of the trailer.
Yeah. This bit, isn't it? Yeah. It's sort
I don't know
of
why
turning.
It reminded me of Naked Gun a little bit.
Yeah. It is a bit one of those sort of slapstick gags. But as I say, it's sort of turning the tide on Indy. That was the classic gag from the original film where the guy's there with the swirling the sword and then he just pulls the gun on him and shoots him. So it's sort of flipping that round. So yeah, really looking forward to it. It's got a lot of promise. And
It's got a return as the classic fun summer movie, I think.
Yeah, and that trailer has done what a trailer should do, which is make me want to go and see the film.
Yep.
So, and sort of read it. Yeah, there's been little criticisms here and there, of some of the bits in it, but generally everybody said but it's made me more excited for the film.
Yep.
So that's what a trailer's job is. So
We can also check out another trailer that's out there for season 3 of The Mandalorian. We got confirmation that season 3 is going to arrive on the 1st of March, and on Disney Plus, obviously, and we'll all be excited to see what happens in the forthcoming season. It's going to get a strange kind of promotion because there's not going to be a celebration to really support it too much between now and its launch. So it'll be interesting to see how they do the marketing for it between now and March. But effectively, it looks like we're going to see the Mandalorian head back to planet Mandalore, and issues arise between him and his own people.
Yeah, and again, the trailer. I think we've seen a lot of the trailer before. I think this is the trailer that actually came out of the panel at Celebration this year.
Yeah,
and then got released a couple of months ago more widely. But the feeling is that that's where the storyline is going, and looking forward to again seeing how they progress the series. I did think for a long while that they were going to use The Mandalorian as the title of the creed of Mandalorian rather than just following Din's story. So you had the Book of Boba Fett, and then you moved on to the next chapter of The Mandalorian as a creed, and you were going to pick up, say, Bo-Katan's story, and then you'd have a couple of series, or a series following her story, and then if they brought Sabine into it, then it would be the next series would be a Sabine story. Almost like a Doctor Who. The Mandalorian is just the title of the creed, and you're following a different Mandalorian in different series. But there you go, I was wrong. It's happened, folks.
It's going to be here before we know it as well, because we're almost in January.
Yeah.
So effectively, we're just 2.5 months away, which seems quite unreal, really. All this news for Indiana Jones, for Mando's release date coming out of Comic-Con in Sao Paulo as well, which is becoming one of the big shows of the year. Disney were there in huge premise, promoting Avatar and their Marvel's content as well. So always going to be a show to look out for now at the beginning of December, I think, each year to see what's happening.
Yeah, and as you say, the other weird thing with the Mandalorian date is Celebration will drop right in the middle of the series. So it'll be, you can't even really have like a premiere. Does that mean that there is a pivotal section of the story that happens, what is it, 4 or 5 episodes in? So you might get a Mandalorian panel and then, a big screen presentation like they did with Obi-Wan, and you get to see the episode that would be airing on whatever it is after the 12th of April or whatever it is. Sort of the week after Celebration.
It depends how they launch it, because I was going to do the maths, depending on how many episodes there is as well. If they do like a double episode premiere, it could all be wrapped up right before Celebration starts.
Yeah. I personally, I don't think they'll be overly concentrating on Mandalore or Mandalorian at Celebration. No. I think the big pushes at Celebration are going to be Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, I think so. I think Skeleton Crew has to be the big focus, because it's something that's getting the least amount of attention and discussion, and
And it is
you've got 3 productions going on at the same time. You've got Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and Acolyte, and I think
yeah.
all 3 of them are going to release this year, and all 3 of them probably need support in different ways. Ahsoka's going to get criticism. It's going to be the prequels, equivalent to the prequels for Dave Filoni. I think he's going to get crucified regardless of what the series is, because people are so invested in that character. It can't live up to anybody's expectations, and I think people are criticising it before it even happens. So that show needs support. The Acolyte's in a new timeline, and yes, there's a huge wealth of support behind the books and comics, but a huge amount of the fan base not involved in that content at all. So that needs support and push. And Skeleton Crew, and I don't know why, but nobody seems to be talking about Skeleton Crew at all.
No, I think the biggest thing about all of it is Mandalorian's got its own legs now. You know, even though it's
Mandalorian's found its fan base, and its fan base are going to find the Mandalorian without needing that much support anymore.
Yeah, that's it. It's the newer shows.
Effectively, you've got 3 new shows that are going to need back in. Plus,
and even Ahsoka, really, you know, Ahsoka the character has a big fan base that are going to pick up on the show. The fact that they brought her into Book of Boba Fett, you know, and interacting with the Mandalorian as well, you know, that you've got sort of threads tying that in. It is really those shows that are going to be out there in terms of different timelines, the Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, that are really, I think those are going to be the shows that they're really going to need to hook people in and, you know, sort of put the weight behind, certainly at Celebration, because, you know, if the Star Wars fans don't know what it is and don't buy into it, you know, and I'm not saying all Star Wars fans, because, again, one of the things we were discussing with several of the guests on Desert Planet, you know, nowadays there's going to be so much content that it's probably not all going to land with everybody.
Yeah,
there's going to be bits that you like and bits that you don't like, you know, and that's a case of live with it. You know, the same as you don't like, you know, everything that's on ITV. You don't like you know, the EastEnders fans that don't like various bits of EastEnders and things like that. You know, it's sometimes there are going to be storylines and things that go off and do things that you don't really get, or, you know,
and
don't
I think
speak.
We're going to have an embarrassment of riches that you can pick and choose what content's for you, and just like pass on that. I don't watch the Star Wars animated stuff because animated stuff just doesn't do it for me, and I don't feel like I've missed out on anything. And skipping past that, people that love the animation will tell me I'm missing out on some of the best Star Wars ever, but it doesn't bother me. And you know, there's been the TV series, and I've watched them all, and I've enjoyed some and not enjoyed others, but it's still been an acceptable 45 minutes of entertainment.
And that's it. As I say, you know, it's. But I do think those shows that, you know, rewind a couple of years and we were getting a show called The Mandalorian, and you know, we were like, oh, is it all going to be about Boba Fett? No, it's going to be about a new character. Oh, right, okay, right. Sell this one to us. I think
that's kind of what I want to see next. I'm quite excited for the Acolyte because it's going to be new and it's going to be fresh. I'd actually like to see more shows that are new than I would necessarily dip into other characters. I don't know if by Celebration we'll be getting announcements for shows coming in 2024 and beyond. Not sure whether that'll be a Celebration thing or held for later in the year for like a Disney Plus event. And we've still got the big equation of what Star Wars doing in the movie realm, and I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Lucasfilm to actually figure out and start delivering on that, because as an accountant, I look at the Disney accounts, and there's a lot of work it needs done to those accounts to make them look rosy. And
Mm.
you've got a franchise there that you could be getting $1 billion plus $2 billion revenue for a film every other year, and you're not doing anything, and you haven't done anything, and it's going to be a 5-year period at least between episode 9 and whatever else hits cinemas. As shareholders and stakeholders in the business, you've got to be querying what's going on there.
Yeah, although another thing, I'm going to have quoted half the episode of Desert Planet Discs, but still tune in, folks, because we won't play any of the music tonight.
We'll put the advert up.
Yeah. But one of the things we said is, just because we haven't had announcements of films, there's so much being produced at the moment that they could actually be working on films and hiding in plain sight.
Yeah,
you've got the Ferrix set that was built. That could be reused for stuff. They've been doing all this stuff with Coruscant, using lots of real world locations, in and around London and the UK. What's to say, they filmed Cyril Khan and Deidre Miro in the morning and didn't wheel in a whole set of other characters in the afternoon. Nobody's going to be any the wiser, because they just go, oh yeah, they're filming Andor, or not. And all of a sudden, you've got something that's being built up using the sets and the builds, if you like.
I'm not so convinced it'd be that far along, but I certainly think there'd be discussions happening with creative. I think there'd be writing rooms and people pitching ideas and trying to develop stories and so on. Artwork happening, that kind of thing. Or I would like to hope there is. There's always lots of rumours of various people being involved in projects, and we're probably not going to get announcements until they're pretty much locked that they're going to be making that film, because it's been a bit of a disaster after disaster for when they've made announcemements in the past. But let's talk about a couple of products that we know are happening. First up, on the literature side of things, which also stretches into the gaming side of things, we've got the upcoming Jedi Survivor, which is a sequel to Fallen Order, coming to all the various gaming platforms, and supporting that, we've got Jedi Battle Scars, the novel from author Sam Maggs, carrying on the story of Cal Kestis as well. So it's kind of going to be a prequel to the game. The novel's coming out in March. I think the game's due May, I believe, off the top of my head.
Just after Celebration.
Just after Celebration, I believe you're right.
Yeah. So guess what EA are plugging?
Yeah, definitely. I've never been too convinced by the game tie-in books too much. I've always kind of felt like the characters almost don't feel canon in the way that they get treated in the larger storyline. So I've never really quite known how to grasp. I think in the past we've had comics tied in, we've had novels tied in. But I'm kind of looking forward to this, because I actually enjoyed Fallen Order, and I thought there was quite a nice story to it. And there has been little sort of nods to it in The Mandalorian, for example, as well. So is it a game or a novel that you'll be picking up?
Yeah, I mean, again, really enjoyed Jedi Fallen Order. Really good game. As you say, really good story around it, which I think again, that helps. It's not just a straight shoot 'em up type thing. There is actually a story being told sort of alongside the game action. So that was really enjoyable. Definitely going to pick up Jedi Survivor when that comes out, and I've got certainly the Battlefront tie-in books, and the first one which I think was Alexander Freed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That I really enjoyed that. And then it was was it the second Battlefront one? Idrin Verso. Yeah, the female type, and that was a really good story as well. So it's one of those I like those sort of things when they're fleshing out a bit more, sort of the character backstory and things like that. It's when that becomes intrinsic to enjoying or understanding the game, or whatever the other property using you to, that it starts to become a bit, almost like a game of one-upmanship. Like, oh well, I've read the book, so I can get further in the game, or I can unlock this special power because I know that they can do this. Yeah. But I'll be looking out for the book as well. So
that brings us to the last news item of the week. Andor Season 2, Tony Gilroy still on the promotional trail for Andor, and obviously now attention and questions are turning towards Season 2, and he's given some hints as to what we can expect. He's spoken before about how it's going to come in blocks of 3 episodes, and there'll be a year's gap between it, and it allows them to do different things with the storylines. This time he's talking about that they're bringing forward about 25 to 30 characters forward from Season 1 into the next series, and he's got a lot to tell about them, but they're also going to be introducing new characters as well, and he also talks about Cassian Andor's journey as well, and his commitment to the rebellion and how he's got there, and how they're going to be able to explore that more in a Season 2. What was your overall take of Season 1 for a start?
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I really, really, it's been really enjoyable, and I think I said in the last episode of Desert Planet Discs, I've revelled in its almost un-Star Warsiness.
Yeah.
Yes, I've watched the show because it's Star Wars related, but it didn't have to be Star Wars related. The story and the themes and the acting were so strong that as a fan of drama series, it was a great drama series that happened to be in the Star Wars world. It could have just as easily been in modern day London or World War II, or all those sorts of things, because the underlying themes and character arcs weren't intrinsically tied into Star Wars, and I think it benefited from that. And like we were saying earlier, you've got to start branching out into some of these other genres that aren't going to be sort of tripping over the regular tropes of here's a legion of stormtroopers, here's some X-Wings and TIE fighters, and here's a couple of lightsabers.
Yeah. I kind of agree with a comment Elliot's just made there, isn't it? Anders opens up the doors for similar shows, and I think it's right. It really opens up the doors for really pushing the boundaries of what we think Star Wars is. Trying different things, trying attack Star Wars from different angles as well. So I'm looking forward to see what they do. I'm particularly looking forward to seeing what they do in Season 2, because Tony Gilroy is kind of one of these quite dour people, but he seems really quite excited about Season 2 of Andor, so I'm interested to see what he brings us. I liked what he did on Rogue One, although it's very difficult to pick out what was original and what was Tony Gilroy, but it seems he did a good job. I really enjoyed Rogue One as a whole, whether it was Gareth Edwards or whether it was his. Andor I've really enjoyed. I've had up and down moments. I got frustrated with it at times, but in terms of rewatchability, it's far more rewatchable than a lot of the Star Wars Disney Plus content we've had. So I'm excited to see what he brings us, and I think it could be something quite special. And more Cyril.
Yeah.
More, like Cyril, want more Cyril.
Yeah, it's say the characters across the board were, even what you wouldn't necessarily deem as like the frontline characters, but they were all really, really strong. The cast across the board was fantastic. And some really strong performances. And just some of the writing and dialogue, was out of this world. I saw somebody posted something on, I think, on Facebook or something, saying, I've just watched the final episode of Andor, and the monologue is just fantastic. What's even more fantastic is by saying that you don't even know which one I'm talking about. And there's several really, really strong sort of monologues in there that all of them just stand up brilliantly. Yeah. And as I say, for me, this is again harks back to what we were saying earlier. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but this could be the thing that hooks some non-Star Wars fans into Star Wars. Yeah. This could be their springboard into the Star Wars universe, Disney Plus subscription, and then they pick up on other stuff, and it's got to diversify and start appealing to fans of different genres, because like the original trilogy actors, none of the original trilogy fans are getting any younger, and if you keep fan servicing them, sooner or later your franchise is dead.
Yeah, definitely. That brings us to the end of the show, but before we go...
on a happy note.
Yeah, on a happy note. We always like to end it on a happy note. Someone's dead. We've just killed the whole franchise. Let's rescue it by getting people to tune in to Father Tracks Radio on your podcast of choice, and on there they will find Desert Planet Disc. Carl, what can they expect when they check out Desert Planet Discs?
Desert Planet Discs is myself and Darth Elvis, aka Greg Robertson, chatting about the various goings on, so covering things like Andor, toys, Roosevelt shirts, and alongside that playing sort of fan created music, music by people influenced by Star Wars, some sort of reworkings and cover versions of some of the themes and things like that, done in new and interesting ways. So the next episode is due out either this coming Friday or the Friday after. We're not quite sure yet. The scheduling's down to Mr. Newbold, but that will be our Christmas special. And we just to tease everybody a little bit, we have a special Christmas present for all of our listeners. Ooh. So tune into the Christmas episode for that.
Excellent. Thank you, Carl, for joining me this week on Good Morning Tatooine.
Always a pleasure.
We've got another Midlander from FatTheTracks.com next week. We've got Mr. Paul Naylor. He'll be joining me to discuss next week's Star Wars news. What that'll be, we don't know at this point, but it will be something interesting, no doubt, because there's never a week goes by without something happening in the Star Wars galaxy. In the meantime, check out Father Tracks Radio for your podcasts, all the Father Tracks social media, and FatTheTracks.com for your daily Star Wars news. And we'll be back this time, we'll be back 9 o'clock UK time next week for another live Good Morning Tatooine. So good night from me.
And good night from me.
There you go. Good night.
Keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news each and every day on FanthaTracks.com. You can also find us on Twitter Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Pinterest at Fantha Tracks. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow Fantha Tracks TV to be alerted to new content and to be a part of our live shows.